"You have fought well," Vader said, his voice a cold, mechanical hiss. "Your power is impressive. Join me. Become my Grand Inquisitor, and together we will hunt down the remnants of the Jedi. Your skills would be invaluable." He glared at Vader, his breath coming in ragged gasps. "I will never serve you," he spat. "You are a slave to the darkness, a pawn of the Emperor. I seek true balance, not tyranny." Vader's eyes narrowed behind his mask, and his grip tightened on his lightsaber. "You are a fool," he growled. "You could have had power, but instead you choose death." With a flick of his wrist, Vader summoned the Force, his invisible grip tightening around the Dark Jedi's throat. He gasped, his hands clawing at the unseen vice constricting his airway. The dark side swirled around Vader, his rage fueling his power. From the shadows, the girl watched in horror. She could feel her mentor's life slipping away, his struggles growing weaker. With a burst of determination, she ignited her own dark orange lightsaber and leaped into the fray. Her blade met Vader's with a clash of sparks, forcing him to release his grip on her mentor. The Dark Jedi fell to the ground, gasping for breath. Vader turned his attention to the new attacker, his anger flaring. "You dare interfere!" he roared, his lightsaber swinging with lethal intent. She moved with agility and precision, her strikes deflecting Vader's powerful blows, fighting with fierce determination, her connection to the Force guiding her movements. But Vader's power was overwhelming, his rage fueling his attacks. "Foolish child!" Vader spat, his voice dripping with contempt. "You will share his fate." As Vader advanced, the girl unleashed a powerful Force push, sending him staggering back. She seized the moment, grabbing her mentor and pulling him to his feet. Together they made for the exit, the temple shaking with each step they took. Vader roared in fury, summoning the dark side to collapse the temple around them. The walls groaned and cracked, debris falling from the ceiling as the ancient structure began to give way. The girl pushed forward, her mentor leaning heavily on her, their determination driving them through the chaos. They burst into the open air just as the temple collapsed behind them, a cloud of dust and debris rising into the sky. Vader stood at the entrance, his rage burning, his crimson blade glowing ominously in the darkness. "You cannot escape me!" he bellowed, his voice echoing through the desolate landscape. But the two figures did not stop. They moved swiftly across the frozen terrain, disappearing into the swirling snow and ice. Vader's fury was a tangible force, but for now they had escaped his grasp. The girl glanced back, her eyes filled with a mix of relief and determination. They had survived, but the battle was far from over. The dark side still loomed, and the struggles for balance would continue. As they vanished into the storm, the ancient ruins of the Sith temple lay behind them, a testament to the epic clash of light and darkness that had unfolded within its walls. In the throne room of the Emperor, darkness reigned supreme. Shadows clung to every surface as if drawn to the malevolent presence seated on the dark throne. Palpatine's eyes, cold and calculating, gazed into the void, his mind attuned to the currents of the Force. He sensed the disturbance, a ripple of conflict and power that reached him even from the distant icy wastes of Mygeeto. A sinister smile twisted his lips. He felt Darth Vader's inner turmoil, the presence of the Dark Jedi and his young Padawan. The seeds of doubt and anger within his apprentice were growing, threatening to disrupt the delicate balance of power. Darth Vader stood on the bridge of his Star Destroyer, gazing out into the vast expanse of space. His mind was a tempest, the recent battle replaying endlessly in his thoughts. He had failed to retrieve the artifact, and the words of the Dark Jedi haunted him. "You are a slave to the darkness, a pawn of the Emperor." His reflection stared back at him from the window, the mask of Darth Vader unyielding and impassive. But beneath the mask, Anakin Skywalker stirred. A vision seized him, unbidden and relentless. Anakin stood in a training room, the walls illuminated by the soft glow of the setting sun. His young Padawan, Ahsoka Tano, faced him, her determination evident in every line of her posture. They moved through a series of drills, their lightsabers a blur of green and blue. "Focus, Ahsoka," Anakin urged, his tone a mix of sternness and encouragement. "Feel the Force flow through you. Let it guide your movements." Ahsoka's face lit up with a smile, her confidence growing under his guidance. They sparred, each movement a testament to their bond, their trust in one another. The vision shifted, the warmth of the training room replaced by the cold reality of the present. The memory of Ahsoka, her unwavering loyalty, her fierce determination gnawed at Vader's soul. His anger swelled, fueled by the recognition of the Dark Jedi's words. He was the Emperor's puppet, his strings pulled by fear and rage. Vader's fists clenched, his desire for a new apprentice igniting within him. He would not be bound by the past, by the ghosts of Anakin Skywalker's failures. He would find the young Padawan who had defied him, and he would mold her into a weapon of the dark side. With a decisive motion, Vader activated the holocommunicator. The image of Emperor Palpatine flickered to life, his piercing gaze locking onto Vader's masked visage. "My master," Vader began, his voice resonant and controlled, "I have failed to retrieve the artifact from Mygeeto. The temple has collapsed, and the Dark Jedi and his Padawan have escaped." Palpatine's eyes narrowed, his expression one of cold calculation. "Your failure is disappointing, Lord Vader, but I sense there is more to this than a mere battle lost." Vader hesitated, the weight of his inner conflict pressing down upon him. The Dark Jedi spoke of balance, of freedom from the darkness. He claimed I was a slave to my own fear and anger, a pawn of the Emperor. A dangerous silence followed, the air thick with tension. Palpatine's smile was a cruel twist of his lips. "And do you believe his words, my apprentice?" Vader's anger flared, his fists clenching at his sides. "I am loyal to you, my master, but the presence of this Dark Jedi and his Padawan has stirred memories, doubts." Palpatine's eyes glittered with malevolent delight. "Ah, Anakin Skywalker still lingers within you then. The boy who thought he could save the galaxy. He is weak, Vader. You are stronger without him." Vader's mind flashed back to the vision of Ahsoka, the warmth of their bond, the strength of their connection. "I will find the Padawan," he declared, his voice a low, dangerous rumble. "I will turn her to the dark side, and she will become a powerful weapon for us." Palpatine's smile widened, his satisfaction evident. "Good. Let your anger guide you, Lord Vader. Find this Padawan and prove your loyalty to me." The holocommunicator flickered off, and Vader was left alone with his thoughts. The dark side swirled around him, a storm of power and rage. He would not be a puppet. He would carve his own path through the darkness, and he would do it with the strength of a new apprentice by his side. As the Star Destroyer prepared to leave Mygeeto, Vader's resolve hardened. The battle for his soul was far from over, but he would not falter. The shadows of his past would fuel his future, and he would rise above the chains that bound him. Anakin Skywalker was dead. But from his ashes, Darth Vader would rise, more powerful and determined than ever before. The Dark Jedi and his young Padawan trudged through the frozen wasteland of Mygeeto, the ruins of the Sith temple crumbling behind them. The cold bit at their exposed skin, but their minds were occupied with thoughts far more pressing than the icy wind. The encounter with Darth Vader had left them both shaken, but also resolute. "Master, what will we do now?" the girl asked, her voice carrying a mix of determination and lingering fear. She glanced up at her mentor beside her, her eyes searching for reassurance. He paused, the weight of the recent battle and revelations pressing down on him. "We learn from this. We train harder, and we grow stronger in the Force. Vader is powerful, more powerful than we anticipated, but he is not invincible. To stand a chance against him and the Empire, we must harness our own strengths, sharpen our skills. We must become more powerful." The wind howled around them, a mournful accompaniment to their thoughts. The Dark Jedi's mind drifted back to the duel, the ferocity of Vader's attacks, and the revelation that had struck him like a bolt of lightning. He had seen into Vader's mind, glimpsed the truth behind the mask. Anakin Skywalker, the hero of the Clone Wars, had become the monster they now faced. A memory surfaced unbidden. The chaos of battle during the Clone Wars, blaster fire lighting up the night. He had been pinned down by droid forces, his comrades falling around him. Desperation had set in, and just when all hope seemed lost, a blue lightsaber had cut through the darkness. "Hold on!" Anakin Skywalker had shouted, his presence a beacon of hope. With swift, decisive movements, Anakin had dispatched the droids, saving him and the few survivors. His courage and strength had been legendary, a testament to the light side of the Force. The vision faded, replaced by the cold reality of the present. His heart ached with the bitter realization. The man who had once been his savior had fallen so far, twisted into the embodiment of darkness and tyranny. "Vader is Anakin Skywalker," he said quietly, the weight of the revelation heavy on his shoulders. The young girl looked up at him, eyes wide with shock. "Anakin Skywalker, the hero of the Clone Wars. How could that happen?" He sighed, his breath visible in the frigid air. "The dark side is powerful. It can corrupt even the brightest souls. Anakin was a great Jedi, but his fears, his anger, they consumed him. He became what he once fought against. It's a harsh lesson for us all." They continued walking, their ship now visible in the distance, a beacon of sanctuary amidst the desolation. "We need allies," he said, determination hardening his voice. "We cannot do this alone. There must be others out there, survivors, warriors, who seek balance, who understand the true nature of the Force. We must find them, unite them, and together we will stand against the darkness." The young girl nodded, her resolve mirroring his. "I understand, Master. We will find them." As they reached their ship, the hatch opened with a hiss, the warmth of the interior a stark contrast to the biting cold outside. They stepped inside, the weight of their mission settling on their shoulders. The communication console beeped, a message waiting. He activated it, the holographic image of an old friend flickering to life. The face was familiar, a reminder of the connections they still had. "Baylan, I need your help. There's trouble brewing, and I believe you and Shin are the only ones who can make a difference. Meet me at the coordinates I'm sending. May the Force be with you." The message ended, and Baylan glanced at Shin. "It seems our path is clear. We have allies to find, and a war to fight. Let us not waste any more time." Shin nodded, her eyes burning with determination. Yes, Master. Let's go! With a sense of purpose renewed, Balin set the coordinates and the ship lifted off, leaving the desolate landscape of Mygeeto behind. The journey ahead was uncertain, fraught with danger and challenges, but together they would face it, determined to bring balance to the Force and stand against the encroaching darkness.